Well, a good evening to you. Great thanks for joining us. This is Family Matters. And obviously the conversation, like Rose Gaku has been talking about consistently, we're talking about widows. On the 23rd of this month, it will be the International Widows Day. And obviously the intention of this program being to highlight the gains made in terms of ensuring the rights of widows, but most importantly, again, to highlight the gaps that are existing and what needs to be done. This conversation will be quite an interesting one. So for the next 40 minutes or so, keep it here. You can continue tweeting at KBC Channel 1. Kioria, the hashtag is Family Matters, as well as on our SMS line 22162. I can see a couple of you have already started sending in your SMSs. We'll try and get you answers from the panel because it's quite huge. 22162 is the SMS line. On Twitter at KBC Channel 1. At Kioria, the hashtag is Family Matters. Continue speaking to us. Right about now, let me introduce the panel. From my immediate left is Grace Nderitu. Yes. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We also have Joyce Ngugi. You're very much welcome. Yes. We also have Diana Kamande. I think this one is a consistent guest on Family Matters. Thank you very much, Diana, for joining us. And we also have Margaret Nzomo, who joins us for the first time. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us.
Thank you.
So I want us to kickstart this conversation. Diana, because you're the one behind this whole concept, and tell us where we are in terms of ensuring the rights of widows in Kenya is actually a reality.
Okay, thank you so much, JJ, for having us.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy because we are not where we started. There was a time anyone could see a widow and could see the face of poverty, could see a very dirty woman, but today it's not like when we started. At least today we have been recognized by the government. Yeah. This is the 3rd International Widows Day that the government is hosting for us, and we are very grateful to our government. We also recognize the effort that is being made by churches. So many churches are recognizing widows. So we are not badly off, but there are still several gaps that we feel that when we address the issues, when we continue creating awareness, we will be somewhere very soon.
Absolutely. We'll begin talking about those stories but now, and I want to engage Margaret. And by the way, Margaret has a form of disability, and that is, she lost her sight at one point in her life, and she'll be telling us about that because it's quite a sad story. But then again, she's a strong woman because she has joined us tonight. Thank you, Margaret, for coming.
Thank you,
Tell
JJ.
us, when were you widowed? At what age or what year was it?
Thank you, JJ.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm a widow of now 20 years old, since 1987.
Yeah.
And I lost my husband. That time I had my sight, but due to the sickness or HIV virus, I lost my sight. I used to work. I'm a woman of 4 children, but 2 have been to the Lord. I have 2 now and 4 grandchildren. It has been a journey or an exodus. When I started, my journey was not easy, and that's why I lost my eyes due to medically illness. Yeah. Though I was sick and though I had the virus, but I think there was negligence. I was neglected in the hospital.
There was medical negligence?
Yes. One of the hospitals in the city. All right.
And we'll talk about that.
That is 2 or 3.
But tell us, what happened by the time you're widowed?
My during time of my widow have been very tough. It is a story, emotional story. Yeah. Because when I lost my husband due to HIV, the family did not believe he was HIV positive. By that time we were calling AIDS. There was no word. Positive came recently. HIV came recently. People used to call it AIDS. I don't know, 1997, that time people were very much afraid of AIDS. Even if it is the time they could even greet you. Yeah. People could not even come near. They were scared. Maybe you could have infect them. So the family did not agree. Yeah. And what happened when he died, there was a lot of tug of war for burial. I buried him through the law, a court order. Yeah.
That is after how long after he had died that you had to go for a court order to bury?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
After his
you had to obtain a court order to bury him?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I buried him through the court order. Yeah. Reason why they didn't want me to have the death certificate for the inheritance. Yeah. Because when I tried to search why were they denying me the burial, because the my husband had no many properties. He had no even a plot or a piece of land somewhere, but except the mother
the land he was supposed to inherit from the
motherland.
From
his mother. And I think that's why the struggle came. And finally I buried him and I got my death certificate. But from that moment, since there was a war and a conflict in the burial, and you know here, I'm the one suffering. And I knew why he died. Because it was disclosed to me by a doctor in Kenyatta Hospital. And it is true. He also confessed to me. We forgive one another. And he told me as mom, he used to call me mom. He told me, I'm sorry, I brought this disease, but what could we do? It is too late. But I remember very well, I told him in the hospital, me, I'm not going to die. And I always quote this scripture, Psalms 1:18-17. I told him, I'm not going to die. I shall live to declare the goodness of the Lord. And that word has kept me up to this morning. I'm still sitting in this studio. Though I lost him sight after his death, but it has been, you can imagine, if you don't have a husband, it is the time now, you don't know whether you are the next. After him, I didn't know whether I have it or not. I had to take my time because I was also scared. I don't want to be, because I was a very fat woman. I didn't know whether I have it or not. So I was scared also to be tested. But I took my courage, I went for test. But I didn't go exactly for the HIV, I went for the family. And that's where they diagnosed that I had cancer, cervical cancer.
Cervical cancer.
Cervical cancer is second stage.
What? This is in what year?
97, before he died, July 97, because he died in September. He was sick that time, he was very sick.
So when you go for testing, you discover you have cervical cancer?
Yes.
And that's about 3 months before your husband died?
2 months.
2 months, actually.
Yeah, 2 months. July and September, 2 months. And my uterus was taken away. And I was hitting the woods. That's when he died. So the time I was burying him, I was very weak.
Even by the time you were obtaining court orders, you were already very weak.
Yeah.
Hold that thought. We're going to come back to your story in a bit. But before I engage Joyce, Grace, because you've listened to her story, and the kind of struggle that a widow has to go through to even justify that, I'm the wife to this gentleman and stuff like that. What do you blame it on?
Well, as a family therapist, because that's what I do, I think the gap that I see is psychosocial support. We do need to increase the psychosocial support for our widows, and we need to do a lot of awareness about the grief process, because this woman, she's losing a husband who has been sick, she's losing a support, dreams, she's losing somebody to care her kids with, and then suddenly she has to fight for basics, a place to stay, food to eat, and all that. So I think our society really needs to look again at the needs of the widows when it comes to psychosocial support. It's very important, and I think our families, we need to let go of the archaic ways that we are looking at widows, and realize that these are human beings that we are dealing with. So we are also infringing on their human right, to be able to continue with life. Because if you take their inheritance, you have also taken their ability to have their basic needs. So I do. What do I blame it on? I think our society, or the way that our society is still looking at widows, and we need to really change that. Even to the mashinani, the chiefs, the sub-chiefs, and women who are widows because they are desperate. They are finding themselves becoming victims of mistreatment. Much of it, and even sexual mistreatment. They're being taken advantage of by the people who are supposed to help them. So there is a lot that we need to do.
Absolutely, and we'll also focus on those because some of the texts I'm seeing here are quite horrifying. But Joyce, thank you also for joining us tonight. Joyce is the widow of the former Gatundu South Member of Parliament. He was called Ngugi, I think was succeeded by Moses Kuria at one point. What is your story, particularly, you know, when it comes, because everybody assumes you are the wife of a Mheshimiwa. Life ought to be easy for you. That is the road you're supposed to walk. How was it for you?
Like you have said, there is that assumption of what type of a widow is this, and the society will keep to take, now she was the wife of, so what problems does she have? That is the society. And me, I fall in that kind of category. When my husband passed on, I went through the other challenges that every other widow went through. But there are those special challenges where everybody will look at you like not a real widow, because they think you were economically well. So why should we bother much? And therefore you'll not find people bothering much about you, but they forget about your emotional. They forget about your loneliness. Whether I had a car to drive or I had a good house to live in, it cannot turn out to be that man. And the empire that man could have left still needs to be maintained by me and bring up my children. Therefore the challenges are just the same like any other widow. I found that we used to have very many family friends, families that we could go together in occasions, in holidays. You don't find them anymore. So you are still taken like, you know, an omen. Now that you've lost your husband, you are something that kind of being feared. Just like the other society will take and refer widows to witches and giving them names. I have gone through the same. Let me mention, you've talked about him being, he was an MP, and I vied.
Yeah, you survived.
I vied.
To succeed him. To
succeed him. And I'm a widow. And when you go to the field there, the fights they throw to you, they point out at that widowhood. That is where they want to wound you more. Because it's where they will call you a prostitute.
What?
And they will call it in public. Just like any other widow is called a prostitute. Now here they get away. They cannot value like another human being and look for other things, but they'll look at that. You are a prostitute. You killed your husband so that you take this seat. And I have gone through all that. You killed him so that you remain with the property. Just like any other widow is referred as a mandara. Because you become mandaras. Immediately the spouses die. So I became one. And down there, I've really faced those things, being called those names and the prostitute things. And you are also taken, like now me who was fine. There are those people who want to speak about, now she's coming to Vai and she's married. I'm not born in Gatundu. I'm born in Nyeri, married there. So
they treat you as a non-local.
Yes, they'll speak mostly about this. She's not from this locality. Actually, may I confess, this is one thing that pained my heart most, rather than any other, that I don't come from that locality. I would want to tell the society there, a woman, we are so disadvantaged. We are born, and when we are born where we are born, we grow up, then we get married, and our identity is determined by many factors. You've forgotten where you came from. I came from Nyeri, so they forgot me the moment I got married to Ngugi. And when you get married there, your names even change. Your identity is forgotten. My name Wajiko does not occur anymore. I am Gogi now, and it's only Gogi known. And the children, maybe I gave birth in that family, Mama so and so. Therefore, I have no identity where I came from. Here where I went with an identity, and a woman gets married with one heart. tunaendaga kabisa, you go completely, you are there. Now this man has gone who was joining you to this family, but now they want to show you you don't belong there. Even the neighborhood and the society want to keep telling you,
you're not part of us.
Yeah, you are not part of us. It's really painful.
I
It's
understand.
really painful
I agree.
and dehumanizing.
When that's absolutely very dehumanizing. Diana, your stories were very well known to our viewers here, and you know what exactly happened. In such circumstances, how have you been coping? One, because of the relatives of this gentleman who know what happened and why the man was pursuing you and wanted you and your daughters dead. How have you been coping after that, particularly with the family?
Kioria, this is what led to us drafting and having the widowhood bill, which we are hoping that it will be tabled in this parliament. One, I was called a murderer. This is a tag given to every widow. You see, even the widows who have lost their husbands to that accident that has just happened today, it is not the accident, it is the widows who have killed. You will hear the stories. They have died because of an accident, but the widows have killed. I was told you don't belong to this community. Even your daughters, you came with them. Now, I didn't give birth. I walked into that marriage with my children.
What?
Everything was turned. And I was told, I am the one who killed him. And then after killing him, I took a sword and started cutting myself so that I could hide evidence.
Ate?
So all these things, and not only in our community, it happens even to other communities. A widow is referred to as a bad omen. Joyce has said it clearly. A widow loses 95% of her friends and 2% of her family members.
Because you're a widow?
Because you're a widow. When I call my sister, but they don't do that. I'm giving an example.
Yes.
When I call my sister, I had called yesterday, what will she think? She's asking
money.
for money again. When they see your call, they ignore the calls. But this is what we are telling the society. We are demystifying widowhood. Yeah, we have started to demystify widowhood.
Let's go back to Margaret. Margaret, so
Yes.
you have to obtain a court order after 2 weeks to bury your husband. And at this time, you have also been diagnosed with cervical cancer. So you're in pain, and there's another emotional pain that you're being taken through of having to bury your husband through a court order. So you have buried the husband. So what happens after that?
After, thank you so much, AJ.
Yes.
After the burial that day, I didn't get into my house because I had built a house. Because when I realized there is a conflict, though after the burial, I could see my co-wives, 2 of them, the wives of the, when I say co-wives, you understand. They came to comfort me and tell me, Mama said, don't go home. I told them no. Even the family could not allow me to spend night. And the people I went with, church members and my colleagues where I was working. Because they saw that struggle there in the mortuary, we are pulling each other. There was like, they want to hide the body and run away. Before I realized they had already gone. But God is good. Somebody leaked a word to me. Margaret, you will not get your husband. Why? They have bribed in the inside there. The one who is releasing the body is given money, and you will not even have the document because they had the ID and the burial permit. So I had to go there in the mortuary, and I claimed, let me tell you, it was a war in the mortuary inside the dead bodies. I got in there by force. And I told them, yes, I told them, give me my document before you finish dressing him and washing him. Let me have a document. And they said, okay, Mama, wait. Then after that, when they just fixed him in the coffin, now they are putting and loading him at the pickup. Now the one of his cars said, let us pray. I said, no prayer. Should I have my document? They said, who has it? Who have those documents? They were looking at each other. I said, no going. I told the security, if you open that door, I'll sue you today. So the security told me, no, Mommy, I cannot open. That's when they surrendered the ID
certificate
and the burial permit. They gave to me, and I gave. It was like I was hiding. I don't want them to see it was like I'm transferring to Diana, and Diana to Ngugi, and Ngugi to Joyce. Then you the one hold the document, but we know each other because you maybe realize I have it or she have it, watamwangusha and then take it. So you can imagine that time I wiped my tears. And I told God to give me strength. Because I got this man. For 3 years, I waited for my marriage. We went to church. Bishop Kitoga joined our wedding.
Other Kitonga?
Yes. I belong to that church. And because my heart determined to be married, and here God has blessed me with a man, and now he's dead, why are we fighting for the body? So I had to bury my husband with respect, with all the due respect. Despite he brought all this to me, I loved him. He was only the man I had in my life. Now home, I didn't spend night. We came home. We came to Nairobi. I didn't think going back. Just imagine, I'm healing, emotional, physically, mentally, and I know what has killed him. But them, they denied. They said, I've killed him. Every widow, as Ngugi said, there is no man dies. The family claims you killed the husband. I was told I've killed him. I don't know whether I am a witch. I was not a witch. So I didn't stay there, and I didn't go back again. Now here, my children was in college. The other one was in primary. I had 1.5 year boy who also followed the father. I don't have him today. He died. He's 6 years old. Now here, I don't know. Now you JJ, you just put yourself in my shoe. Put my life in your shoe. Here I have no uterus. My uterus is gone. That is a psychological problem. Here is HIV. Here I have little children. Here I'm burying my husband with war. Battle. Hey, my God, it was not easy, JJ.
It can't be easy. It can't be easy.
And the family has denied me. Do you know they took everything? Even my wedding bed, the one Kikuyu we call it. Just say
it. Just say it.
Kitanda, kwarura kitanda, yani ile kitanda
that is a gift you get on your wedding day.
Your parents.
To
mean
that
you are no longer, I'm no longer Hamisi's daughter. My father used to call her Hamisi. So I am Nzomo's family. I'm a Mwonga's family. So there is no bed in my house, in my mother's house. It was given to his mother. I had 29 goats. They took it. Everything, even cup, even my dress, they divided my husband's clothes. And I didn't go back again until 2010. But this time I went back, I had lost my sight.
By the time you're going back at 2010?
Yeah.
We'll come back to your story. It's quite an emotional story, really. And these things, the most important thing about this program is we intend to speak about things people don't hear around here in the streets. Real stories, putting faces to names, so that people know that, people like Margaret are not just statistics. They are people. They are, they're people who have real stories. But, I'm just wondering, Grace, looking at this entire story and how, Joyce and Diana speak about, widowhood, because obviously the lean back point where the people you can lean back to at a point like this is family. When family cannot support you, where do you run to?
Yes, that's the million-dollar question. Where do you run to? And the society is not willing not willing. I believe the society does not know how to support widows as well. And even as counselors, it's overwhelming to see that that the person who is seated across from you who is needing this psychosocial support, they actually need more than just psychosocial support. This is a person like the lady, a story you were reading on the SMS line, that they are dealing also with rejection. They are dealing with the fact that I have lost. And I was watching Margaret as she was counting the things that she lost. There are so many things. So you're looking at compounded losses, and to add on that, abandonment issues and rejection issues. So a lot of times I'm looking at Margaret and she is smiling. I look at Diana is smiling. I look at Joyce is smiling. So that means, and they are talking about how they were abandoned at that point. So you ask the question, where do they run to? And I think resoundingly you hear them, they run to their faith. They run to the church. And we want to thank God for the churches which are there, because now we do have a lot of churches that are catering to the widows, and thankfully because of part of the work that Diana does. So a lot of times we are finding that the society is being aware about the needs of the widows. But the other place that people are running to is support groups, and I'm going to let Diana talk about that, because that is where now you are finding more moral support and more psychosocial support there. And we do have counselors who actually offer their time to be able to run these groups. But it is important to realize that the faith of these women, these three women, and maybe many more that we talk to, their faith is what keeps them going. And again, we want to say that there is a scripture that I love in the book of Psalms, chapter 27, that David said, when my mother and my father drop me, then you, O Lord, will take me up. And I think that's what we are hearing from these women.
Absolutely. I see we have like 15 minutes and we will be constrained very badly. So last up, we keep our answers short because there's so much to cover and we need to do it. Just I want you to speak about, church or religion and faith in terms of being support for you, because we know churches out here, after joining you in marriage, then your husband is dead, again you're an outcast, and there's a lot of judgment that comes on you, even when it comes to how the pastor administers pastoral duties to people like people or people who are widows. There's still a difference, and the church is yet to bridge that gap.
Okay, thank you again. First of all, I would want to thank my pastor, Reverend Kamande. He supports the widows very well. He has given me a lot of support. He talks to me when needed, and many other pastors that have been in that church. But I want to say, like my friend has said here, the society, still even the members of the church, have never known exactly how to deal with the widow. For me, I happen to be a reader in church. I'm a PCA person, and I happen to be an elder of the church. I found that my members kind of feared what to tell me. Or now that I was a reader in church, there is also that feeling she's okay. And therefore you'll not see them come closer to you. You'll not see them do visitations to you and many others. And they think you're okay now that you've been helping the others, then you're fine.
You should be fine.
Yeah, but I think it is the awareness that is not there on how to deal with the challenges and the needs that widows go through, so that they can give.
Where do you think is the problem? Because even the scriptures that you're talking about are very specific on how to relate with widows and people who are orphans, but still you will never find widow-tailored sermons, to empower the church in terms of handling, They are members of our flock. This has happened to them. It's quite unfortunate, but they're still part of us. What do you think the problem is?
I think the problem is still better awareness of where they need to touch. They will still need better awareness even in those churches. Despite the scriptures, they will still ignore, because I think they've not given it enough time. And maybe only those who have gone through the journey they can really understand what it all means. And I think even in churches, we need to do more and more awareness, because as you are saying, they have not also done the best.
Absolutely. I think it's a challenge out there to religious leaders to up their game in terms of...
Sure.
Can I add something,
Yes.
something real quick? One of the things that we need to change, the way that we think about grief and people who have lost something, is because we tend to think that because she has lost her husband, the only way we can help her is finding her, giving her what she has lost. But that is not what they are looking for. That is not what a person who has lost something, that's what they desire for. I wish I could have my child back, my husband back. But really, what they need at that point, what we can offer them, which is what we don't know, because we are thinking we can offer them by fixing their problem. But we need to give them the hug, the presence, the saying, hey, your daughter is going to school, can I help? What can I do for you? Those are the things that psychosocial support, that encouragement, you don't have to tell them anything to fix anything. What we need to do is to come around them and a hug, and even saying, I'm thinking about you. How was your week? I think that coming around, I think that is one of the biggest support that we can give them, not to fix.
And important. Diana, you speak on the aspect of, support groups and how they can be able, to hold, widows together.
Yeah, and I'll still go back to the issue of
Yes.
the church, because you can start support groups even in the church. And I want to tell you, one thing that you don't know, JJ, is that after a widow loses the husband, every widow becomes born again. Go to every widow, and every widow is born again. You know why? There is no safer place that a widow feels safe than to run to the church. Even if they are not born again, they'll just go there, and when they find solace there, they will pretend to be born again, because they find warmth, they find peace. And I want also to applaud churches that have held our hands. In my church, I lead the widows department. We have a widows department, and like next Sunday before the celebration of the International Widows Day, we are celebrating the widows, where we are even cutting a cake for them, because we want them to feel part of the church. And our pastor is not a widower, so he's doing this just to encourage that support group, and also to encourage members of the church to support the widows. Now, for the widows who are outside there, I always tell them, don't feel that you are alone. You are never alone, because, because you send a widow, and this widow will bring you a widow. The way there is a proverb that says, send a thief to catch a thief. Send a widow will bring a widow. The other widow will bring another widow. And then we are going to have a group. So my encouragement to them tonight is, form a support group wherever you are. Get 15 widows, go register a self-help group. Either you can register a CBO, reach out to us, we are going to give our numbers, and make sure that we send someone to come on the ground. And we are also talking to the government, where we can domesticate the widow issues from the ward level, constituency level, county government, and then to the national government. Once we domesticate this issue, you see, like the issue of disability, it has been domesticated. So we are looking forward. As we celebrate the International Widows Day on 23rd, we are going to request our government pass for us the bill and help us to domesticate the widows issue.
Absolutely. And you have Rachel Shemesh behind you guys. I'm sure she's very good in terms of mobilizing. But Margaret, again, coming back to you. Here you are, they have dispossessed you of every single property that you have, and you also have 3 children now remaining, because one was 1.5 years old, and then sadly he passes on. So you have 3 children, and you don't even have a single property. How was life for you?
Thank you, JJ. The life was not easy. Though I was working, I was employed, I was working in Ukulima Sacco, and I was earning. Let me say, let me say what I lost is on a husband. I didn't lost a productive husband. Productive by what? Not by children, financially. He was not very supportive. though I loved him.
Yeah.
Because I vowed. What I lost is the husband and the warmness and the loneliness or the comfort he used to give me. So the life was not so much changed about social, financially, but I lost a man.
Yeah.
And you know man is a security. Man is a security. Let me tell the viewers, even if maybe your husband is not working, now I encourage them. I encourage people, even those who have wife and husband today. JJ, you are the security to your husband. Do you know you are here interviewing us?
Yeah.
She's watching maybe, but she'll feel okay when you enter the house.
Yes.
Okay.
So a man coming in the house, you have an ego. You know, I have somebody. To be called a Margaret or a Nzomo, it also makes sense because even people will not chokoza you always.
Yeah. Yeah.
And me, I used to keep my ring. And to one woman came and told, are you married by their dead man? Yes. I didn't know he died because I didn't want to remove my ring. So what I lost is a man, but the support, I supported my children. I could take a loan. I educated them. But the challenges were there. Like my sisters are here about the church. Me, I have not come across in my church having any department for widows. No.
It doesn't have.
We don't have.
That is why we're here tonight, of course, to create this awareness and ensure that these churches also are responsive to the issues of widows. And I see, again, we're still running out of time and have questions to answer. But before we do that, because whenever we talk about the conversation about widowhood, there's always something that is forgotten, and that is children that end up becoming almost a collateral damage. How do they survive in such a situation?
Obviously, as we are talking here, I would imagine, and probably I'm not the best person to answer that question, but I'll say that from a professional, space, is that children who lose a parent, they really do need a lot of attention. And I have had the privilege of working with some families who are in that situation, and I do remember especially two cases where the children told me, they were teenagers, they told me the hardest part is that I wasn't able to say goodbye to my father or to my parent. And so we do, there are some things we do because our children go to boarding schools and they are facing exams and all that. So we don't want to tell them their father died. We don't want them to come to in case they are not able. But there is a lot of healing that happens in these rituals that we do. So I want to say that if you are a widow and your children are also, remember your children are also grieving, and it is important that you bring your children, because at that point you really can't, and now you are fighting with the family, and the family is not even offering that psychosocial support for your children. So if you can, reach out to us, professional counselors, grief counselors. We will be able to help. The other thing that I think is very important, and I love, now I'm going back to my church. In my church we do have a counseling ministry, and we have a family ministry. I'm going back and I'm going to begin to look around to see if we have children of widows, children of widowers, and because we also need support groups for those children.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me read some feedback here so that generally Joyce and Diana can respond to it. Obviously, again, we need to talk about giving out those numbers out there for these people who might be in need of help. Somebody says, hello, KBC Mary. I lost my husband in 2010 in the line of duty. He was working with Kenya Police, and my life has not been easy. A lot of discrimination from the community and even family. I would like people to respect widows and orphans because it's not their fault. Hi, my mom never traced anything, benefits of my dad, and he used to work with Metal Box Company Limited, Thika. She's just struggling. I'm a widow who lost my dear husband in 2007 while in a process in my iPad, in buying land in all documents with a lawyer who went underground. There's a widow wanted to purchase property. The lawyer went underground without, transferring the land. I went to court since 2014 where nothing is being done as the land has been sold by the said lawyer who is holding a senior position. Can someone help me? That is Mrs. Nanga, and obviously that's something we're also going to talk about. I'm a widow, 8 years now, having left with three kids. My problem is that my father-in-law wants to take me as his wife. When I refuse, he incited his children not to speak to me, even saying that I have no right of inheritance. Please help. Juu kuna wengine wanateswa kama mimi. Agnes from Machakos, I think that's something that Rose Gaku had read before she left. As a widow who is struggling to educate my three kids unemployed, my only house was demolished by one of my in-laws. I'm now wondering of where I will get money to buy land in another place to put on a house and call it my home. Somebody says, I'm speaking on behalf of my mom. After being left a widow, she was given land by our grandfather. But now her stepson did succession that is transfer of land without her knowledge. We have tried to get justice from the Ministry of Lands, but it has proved futile. And some of these stories are really horrendous stories of people who've been dispossessed. Let's start from there, Joyce, in terms of, particularly wanted to deal with this case of, this is a man who wants to sleep with a daughter-in-law, inciting, children and stuff like that. In most of these cases where they can find you as support groups and how you can help them very quickly.
Yeah, all right. That is why we came up with a bill. 2016, we came up with a bill to try and fight for such kind of things. There are so many rights we want to fight for, and one of them is those traditional issues, those casuals of forcing a woman to be inherited by either the brother or the husband, that man becoming with very funny issues of sleeping with the daughter-in-law, so that this law can prevent this widow from being subjected to those kind of things. There are widows who are subjected to marry the brother, cut your hair, the body of the husband is washed and you're supposed to drink the water. Some Muslims will keep their widows inside the house for some months, that they are mourning, they cannot come out, they cannot be seen. So in the bill, there is that part that we want to fight for the ladies to be protected from those kind of mistreatments, and the many others that are there.
Absolutely. Diana, very quickly, in terms of these are people who are being dispossessed. How can you help as a support group? And as we move towards International Women's Day, securing their legal rights, very quickly.
Okay, we work very closely with the office of the DPP, and the current DPP is a no-nonsense man. And if we have been able to help other widows during the time of Honorable Kioria Tobiko, even right now, if they reach out to us, we can be able to help them. And that lady who is being threatened, if she doesn't sleep with the father-in-law, actually that is sexual assault.
It's a criminal offense.
It's a criminal offense. So she should call the government hotline 1195. Then from there, she should also reach out to us, because no woman should lose her rights because she lost her husband.
Your number, very quickly, the numbers on which to reach out.
I'm not going to give my personal number.
Okay.
I'm going to give our office number, 0789 0789 577 476 0789 577 476.
All right.
Yeah.
Again, 0789
577 476.
Oh my God. Unfortunately, I have to wind up this program here because I've overrun with over 7 minutes. And
parting shot.
Yes, very quickly, very quickly. I think Bungai can secure me just 1 minute. Parting shot kutoka kwako Mama Margaret.
Okay.
Unaweza ambia wajane nini ambao wako huko nje? Very quickly.
Thank you, JJ. Wacha niongelesha kidogo Kiswahili wale wazee. Na nataka nawaambia wale wanatuona katika studio, wakiniona mimi nafikiri mimi ni mzee kuliko hawa. I'm approaching 59.
Yeah.
And imagine, I don't remember, bwanangu aliaga akiwa na 35 years. Na tumeachana na mwaka mmoja. Unaweza kuona miaka ile nimekaa bila mume. Na nataka kuwajulisha wale wako nje wanatuona. Niwaambie wakiniona hapa mimi najiitaga a woman of faith, mwanamke wa imani. In the morning tulikuwa na Bible study, tulikuwa tunaongea about the widow. yule alikuwa bwana yake na madeni na watoto wake walikuwa wachukuliwe. Na tulikuwa tunajaribu kuona the character of that woman. Nikaona ule mwanamke alikuwa faith na imani. Imagine alienda kumwambia Elisha shida zake. Hakukibiria mwanaume mwingine. Alikibiria Elisha. Na Elisha akamwambia enda ujaze vibuyu maji. Nataka kwa encourage wale wa mama na dada mnatuona. Wengine tumepitia hell. Mimi nimepoteza hata msichana wangu through HIV. Nikapoteza my son-in-law. Nimepoteza watu wengi. Na hata nikicheka wananiona nikupona nimepona. Nilikuwa nimegojeka lakini my vidonda zimepona. Kwa ajili ya kumwamini Mungu.
Asante.
Kwa hivyo nawaambia wale mko nje. Wale mnaniona mimi Magi. Mkue kama mimi. Kitu na wasihi wamama wale wajane kama vile Diana amesema contact us. Sisi hatuna haya. Tumejitokeza. Kwa sababu mimi nimeona wajane wakidhulumiwa.
Asante.
Kwa hivyo tafadhali mtu contact na msijinyonge. Tunawahitaji katika field.
Asante. Asante sana. Kupitisha 30 seconds. Aki.
Mine is not to the widows. I just want to speak to the married women and married men. You're the next potential widows and widowers. Take care of the widows and widowers.
Wow, that's enough.
Yes.
Very quickly, 30 seconds.
Yes.
Mine is to the widows and widowers. I want to tell them now there is hope. Now that we are coming together like this, there is a new bill on the table. We'll fight to the end that the lights and the challenges of women in this country will be taken.
Absolutely. Grace, your 30 seconds, very quickly.
Let us continue the conversation to vunje hiki kimya.
Yes.
Fantastic. To Vunji, all of you have been brief and wonderful students, and thank you all for coming and sharing your stories, and Grace again because of offering expert opinion on these issues. Again, we thank all of you for the courage to come and speak to us. It's a conversation we will continue, and Diana, I can hope we can have a sit down again with this panel after the International Widows Day and still have this conversation. My name is John Jacob Kioria. The lady up there is on my neck. Good night.